Hi, my name is Al Palchowski, and today I've got a presentation on antimatter. First, a little history. Antimatter was first derived mathematically before it was ever witnessed. It was derived by a guy named Paul Dirac. He was working on an equation that would predict how particles behave close to the speed of light. And he started with Einstein's equation E equals mc squared with momentum included, and eventually came out with a Dirac equation that would include Planck's constant, relativity, and particle wave function. But this equation would require for the electron to have four possible states. Two of these states are upward and downward spin of a negative charge electron, and he didn't know that other two states are upward and downward spin of a positron, an antimatter counterpart of an electron. So first, what is matter? It's what makes up everything around us included. We are made of matter. Molecular bonds holding together atoms that are made of protons, neutrons, electrons, that are made of subatomic quarks. What is antimatter then? It is antiquarks that form antiprotons, antineutrons, and one would guess anti-electrons. But no, it was actually decided that a counterpart of an electron is to be called a positron. These antimatter counterpart particles would have same properties as regular matter particles. They would have same mass, same spin, except opposite charge. Positron would have positive charge and antiproton would have negative charge. And there has been created antihydrogen. And from here, there's no reason not to believe that these anti-atoms couldn't form molecular bonds. There could be a copy of yourself made up entirely out of antimatter, and you would have to feed them anti-water and anti-chicken nuggets. And you have to keep them in anti-air bubble, because antimatter doesn't interact well with regular matter. When antimatter comes in contact with regular matter, they undergo a process called annihilation. Both matter and antimatter are turned into energy of gamma rays. Per atom count, it's more powerful than a nuclear bomb. Sounds kinda scary, but does antimatter exist in nature? Well, as you can imagine, it would be pretty hard for antimatter to exist for a prolonged period of time, since we live in a universe made of matter and not antimatter, and everything antimatter comes in contact with will result in annihilation. There are few places positrons can form naturally. Antimatter particles can form from impact of cosmic rays with atoms in atmosphere, and positron can be formed from beta-positive radioactive decay. Last time a significant amount of antimatter was created was during the Big Bang, and all of that was annihilated shortly after, resulting in a cosmic afterglow. For some reason, there was more matter than antimatter in the Big Bang. Otherwise, if proportions were perfectly 50-50, all of the matter would have cancelled out each other, and there would only be photons left and nothing else. So there's no place that is abundant in antimatter that can be harvested for very high energy density spaceship fuel. But can we make antimatter ourselves with science and stuff? Yes, it's possible to make antimatter particles with high energy gamma ray. Just like when matter antimatter is annihilated, gamma rays are released, the reverse is possible. High energy gamma ray can randomly spawn particle and antiparticle. And you can also smash protons with high energy and antiproton can be formed. There's even a place called antimatter factory that does exactly this. They turn protons into antiprotons by stripping hydrogen atoms of its electrons, accelerating the proton, hitting a metal plate, and trying to catch the antiproton in magnetic field. The antiproton is combined with the positron to form antihydrogen. It's not an easy task as you can imagine. You can't allow the antimatter to come in contact with any regular matter, and you need to catch it and confine it. So there has been very little antimatter ever created, and it wouldn't be an efficient way of making spaceship fuel. So what do they do with this antihydrogen? Yeah, they study annihilation process by combining antihydrogen with hydrogen.